One, two. Phenomenon. 1,000-foot crotch phenomenon. 2003. Welcome back to, well, in this case, Chaos Theory. I'm Aurian Archive, and this won't be very long. Okay, there's kind of some, questions. Why have so many of the recent streams basically been just a game being played, no real talking, nothing else going on? Well, first thing is, originally I had just wanted to do kind of a comparison Phantasy Star Online 2 versus Phantasy Star Online Original, and then that leap from there into the rant about every time there's a rumor that somebody's going to buy up Sega, everyone legitimately in the games, someone who's legitimately in the games industry gets excited because Sammy has been such a terrible, atrocious manager of Sega's talent and intellectual property, and has basically done nothing to push to either celebrate Sega's legacy, keep revamping products to make new and interesting products. And while I was kind of going on that path, I started playing Phantasy Star Online and was reminded how much I just absolutely adore this game. I once listed it as my top MMO of all time because this game got everything right. Now, okay, now it definitely shows its age, but it got everything right. And one of the things that, using a gift card over Christmas, I got a PS2 keyboard. So now I can type. Yeah, I know, crazy. So that's kind of what I wanted to just go over here. Is I had gotten a PS2 keyboard. Just this is Perrin X, Perex, Perixx, something like $15, $19, $20. And I got it just because it's a micro keyboard, a lot like the Kinesis TKOs that I'm using. So this one does have a full function built-in arrow key. And occasionally it does do something like that when you hit a button that's not recognized. So we will re-plug it back in. So, some issues. But I think that's more just I wasn't sure that my adapters were still valid, or if, I'd done damage by trying so many different USB keyboards. So I just kind of wanted to go into, okay, I had gotten a PS2 keyboard, why I've been playing so much Phantasy Star Online, because I really like this game, and I can't ever remember how far I got in Ultimate, and I guess I kind of, at some point, want to get to Ultimate. I know I played a lot of Ultimate level back when this game actually had living servers, but this is really something for a future stream. I've got to be someplace early tomorrow, so I want to try and keep this short. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about, other than I got the keyboard, was I watch a lot of Cracking the Cryptic. They are another YouTube channel. They solve puzzles, Sudoku puzzles, cryptic crosswords, pen puzzles, and pretty much do everything. And they're, no lie, Cracking the Cryptic has been an inspiration for how I want to run the content that I create. I want to play the games in real time, showing how the puzzles are solved and approaching from a game design perspective. Well, Phantasy Star Online is not really a good game for that because there's not really a whole lot of puzzle solving. A lot of it in this game is actually timing and distance. How far away you are from an enemy, when do you break and run, how do you let the enemies group up? You've seen in previous streams, I will occasionally use the enemy AI, get them to bunch together, turn them around on themselves, and that gives me time to turn around position, and then go in for a couple of wide sweeps with a wide blade. And the different techniques and powers that are useful across different character classes. Like, this character doesn't really get good ranged weapons, she can use pistols, but I've got a cutter, which is a melee weapon with a ranged component, so I use a cutter a lot, because that's what benefits my archetype. Anyway, so that's what I find this game fascinating. It's one I'm probably going to spend more time now that I've actually got it set up in streaming. And now that I've got a PS2 keyboard, and again, I kind of got away from the point there. Cracking the Cryptic, because one of the things I love about them is that you legitimately don't know what kind of puzzle they're going to do next. And there's another channel out there, Real Civil Engineer. Guys does civil engineer in the UK, and he plays random puzzle strategy, something kind of games. I'm not exactly what I would call infra, other than a walking simulator. But Real Civil Engineer does these kind. You don't know which game he's going to play next or return to, and that's another one where it really influences how I want to run my own content. I don't want to just be that City of Heroes guy. I don't want to just be, well, that Borderlands guy, or I want to have a variety of content. But honestly, since I'm going to play the things that I want to play, a lot of my streams are probably going to be Phantasy Star Online. Maybe not necessarily the GameCube version, because I have been pointing the channel at a few people that I've known over the years, and where I want to come to a point on this is Phantasy Star Online, the original, is one of the games that will probably be prime material for being remade, not just republished, because there was a republishing. I want to say it was Phantasy Star Blue Burst. That was a republishing of Phantasy Star Online's episode 1 and 2, and I think 3. I think all the way up until the card game kind of offshoot. Well, one of the Phantasy Star Online entries was really weird. Kind of broke with the formula and really ticked a lot of fans off. And I think that's one of the reasons why Phantasy Star Universe didn't really find an audience. Is Sega had, under Sammy's leadership, said bye-bye to their customer base. That and turning off the servers and killing the online components also is just one example of Sammy's mismanagement. But anyways, looking forward, I think that Phantasy Star Online is probably one of the ultimate couch co-op, drop in, drop out kind of games that I think would do really well on the Switch. And talking among the industry, I'm not the only person who thinks that. So there are discussions, and I'm going to go ahead and point out who I think is leading these discussions. I think Microsoft is pushing to publish a reimagining of Phantasy Star Online. I don't know how far along it is. We've heard talks that Sony is about to take wraps off of a big mystery PlayStation RPG, and we know Microsoft has had a very big hand in Phantasy Star Online, and we also know that Microsoft has had great success with Xbox games on Steam and PC games on Steam, and we're also pretty sure that Microsoft has a hand in Proton. Well, actually, we're not too sure on that. There have been Microsoft developers making contributions to Proton, which is a clean stream version of Wine. They've been able to do that without fear of legal consequences. That's a whole other matter. Anyways, so if Phantasy Star Online, the kind of game that I'm streaming from right now, if it comes to another platform, Xbox or Switch, PC, we see something that takes the formula of this game and moves it forward, I probably would be playing that version as well. But anyways, it's kind of the high point, what I wanted to hit over. Somewhere in here I skipped over. Yes, and it's one of the reasons why I turned the microphone off is watching Cracking the Cryptic. It's kind of hard to you know, when you're creating YouTube content and watching someone else's YouTube content, it sounds a little tacky if you can hear that on the microphone. I'm just saying. But yeah, that is one of the reasons why I've cut the microphone, because when I've had time to play, when I've had time to stream, it's also when I've had time to, I want to sit and watch Simon bash his head against a puzzle by Clover, which is always entertaining. But that's all I've got for right now. I need to get that thing called sleep. Oh boy. And I will probably be streaming a little bit more, actually doing something. But that's just kind of an update. And with that, I'm out of here for tonight. I'm Aurian Archive, and I'll catch you.